and feeling great. Om Shanti and welcome to Light of Knowledge. They say discovering, knowing and loving God is someone's biggest fortune. How do we create this fortune of a lifetime? Let's understand this better in our conversation with Sister Shreya from the Brahma Kumaris. Welcome to the show, Sister.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
So in our previous episode, we spoke about connecting with God. And we said we can form different relationships, one of a parent-child, a friend, and all we need to do is create a thought, visualize, and move from this realm to another realm and actually have a conversation with Him where we can say what we'd like to say and we'd like to hear what God has to say.
Absolutely.
So while I know that I would have a lot of things to say to God, I'm very keen to know, how does one really hear what God has to say?
God is this pure energy, so He has no physical words. It's like not that you hear something with these physical ears, but again, because He's a being, so what you can feel is the energy. And to feel that energy, it's very important that your intellect is very clear. I would say clear intellect, clean mind, and an honest heart. Combination of this, and you start to kind of really hear what God says and what He expects out of you. Because of course God accepts you the way you are, but also it's His role to make you better every day, to transform you actually to an angel, from human being to an angel, which means to a very elevated stage, a stage, because if you see an angel, the angel is somebody who is always giving. These guiding angels, the guiding angels are always who are giving and guiding people. Everybody kind of feels a belongingness towards them. So to reach to that stage where whoever you meet, you're able to give, they are able to connect with you. So God is kind of helping you to move through that journey from where this being, which is not very pure right now, the battery is little discharged, the soul has these stains, the weaknesses, they will all come up. You have to kind of meet them, deal with them, move forward to a stage where you become this beautiful angel.
So can you walk me through how you would do this? So you said honest heart. How do I have an honest heart? You spoke about a clear intellect. Did I get you right?
Yeah.
A clear intellect and a clean mind.
Yes.
So how do I have an honest heart, a clear intellect and a clean mind?
I think we'll begin with clear intellect, because clear intellect is something when you take care of your intellect, because intellect is this place which has to, it's the judge. And when I say clear intellect, you're very careful of the information that you're taking from outside.
Okay.
Because all the information that you take from outside, and it's very, very negative, it tends to kind of, it's like collecting a lot of garbage in your own intellect. You won't want to do that, There are people who are gossiping or criticizing or complaining, and you become party of that. It's a very conscious effort. It's something that you choose to do. You're not forced to do. You want to do it because you've tasted that bliss from God, and you want to do it. Because some people say, okay, then you don't watch a movie, you don't do that, you don't. It's not like I don't. It's like I choose not to, because I want to keep it clear. It's okay to watch something which is going to make it more elevated. But why should I watch, see and hear something? Those words, see no evil, talk no evil, hear no evil, because they're going to pollute your intellect. It's just like, sometimes if somebody wants a healthy body and everybody around them is eating junk food, but they know that if they eat that junk food, their body will not be healthy, and over a period of time the immunity will go low. So they choose not to eat it. And sometimes they choose to eat very healthy food. And there will be people around them who would not like it and would say salad on their plate and say, what are you eating? It's not fun, eat this, try that. Because they think what they're eating is very good, which is fine, But this person is not disturbed. He's very happy eating that healthy meal because he's choosing to do that. It's not a discipline. It's something, because I remember you asked me once that, do I have to? So in spirituality, there is no have to. Everything that you do, every step that you take is a very, very conscious choice. So I choose to eat this healthy food because it's good for my body. I choose to take in healthy information because I want to keep my intellect very, very clean.
So when you say intellect, am I talking about the brain, or is this a part of the mind? What exactly is the intellect?
Intellect is not the part of the brain.
Okay.
But intellect is one of the faculty of the soul. Soul has these three faculties: mind, intellect, and the impressions.
Okay.
So mind is the faculty which creates thoughts. Intellect is the faculty which will judge and will give the decision. And then the action that you perform over a period of time is an impression that's there on the soul. For example, you have to get something done. The mind will create a thought. You can do it with love and you can do it with anger.
Okay.
And so there are these two thoughts. You have to get something done from your child.
Right.
You have to stop your child from doing something. So you have this choice. You can do it with love or you can do it with anger. And maybe you think, no, love will not work. I have to do it with anger. So this is what mind is doing. These are a couple of thoughts that go in mind. And intellect, if it's clean and clear and is guided by God, you know that anger is not a good method because it will spoil your relationship. So you choose love. So this judgment that I don't have to use anger and I have to use love because anger will damage my relationship. Love may take time, but it will build the relationship. This is the knowledge first I have to take from God. This gets stored in my intellect, and then this intellect is able to take the right decision. And then when I do it with love, and I do it with love again and again, it's the impression on my soul. And once it's a very deep impression on my soul, a deep groove in my soul, then after a while, it becomes natural. That's how I operate. So, intellect will guide the brain.
Right. So, I need to have a clear intellect in order to be a good judge, to make a right choice.
Yes.
And I can have a clean intellect if I am taking the right information, if I understood you correctly.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I have to move to the other part that you said, which is the mind, I need to also have a clear, clean mind. Mind is where you are looking at the options. Should I use anger? Should I use love?
This mind is constantly creating thoughts. It's like this factory which is creating thoughts. And now the intellect is something which is guiding the mind actually. If the intellect is very pure, then you don't have many negative thoughts. It's like mind is the horse and intellect is the rein. So if you have the reins in your hand, then the horse will not run wild. So if intellect has all the knowledge, then it can guide mind. That you have to create this kind of thought. And even if the mind goes a little wild, you feel like, oh, I'm such a warrior, then the intellect can guide that if you keep thinking this, you will go low. So tell yourself, I'm not going to worry, I'm going to do my best. Or if the mind keeps saying, oh, I'm not so good, I'm not so confident, I'm not this, how the mind can just create couple of thoughts and there you go down low.
Yeah.
So intellect has the power to change the negative thinking into positive thinking. So every time there's a negative thought, the intellect then interferes and changes into positive. And over a period of time, then this mind is only creating positive thoughts. And when you create these thoughts, then the gap between the first thought and the next thought, this gap is the peace, is the silence that you experience.
So it's as if the mind and the intellect have to work hand in hand to help you connect with God.
Yes.
And what about the heart? Because you spoke about an honest heart. How does that feature in this?
See, even in any relationship, Even in the physical world, if you talk about any relationship, what is the foundation of any relationship? It's honesty.
Yeah.
It's honesty and trust. That's one thing. And that helps you to accept that person well. I think the one thing that you would never like the other partner to do is to lie to you. Feel like really betrayed. And even with God, the more honest we are about ourselves, it's easier to have that connection. Or for Him to, because if you lie, then I don't think you're able to hear what He has to say. There's so much commotion, there's so much that negative energy that I don't think you'll be able to hear God. So you need this very pure. When I say honest heart, I don't mean this heart which is pumping blood. When I say heart, I mean feelings. So when you have very pure feelings, because when you talk about God, it's always about feelings.
Yeah.
It's not about the words that you say to God. It's about your intent. It's about those feelings. So when you have that pure feeling, that honest heart, God responds.
I would like to do an exercise, sister, where we use the mind, we use the intellect, and we try and create these honest feelings and actually connect with God. Is that possible now in the middle of the show?
Yes, it's possible. Would you like to do it?
Yeah, sure.
Take a moment and come into the awareness that I am a soul. See yourself in the center of the forehead, sparkling point of light. I am separate from this body. I am the master of this body. And now, with the help of mind and intellect, see yourself detaching from this body and traveling up above. I leave this costume and travel beyond these 5 elements, beyond the sky, stars, moon, sun, universe, and I reach to that eternal realm where there is only light, there is no sound, only silence, sweet silence. And in this dimension, I see another point of light, sparkling, radiating. He is my Father, the Supreme Being. I get pulled towards Him. I'm drawn to Him. And I go sit next to Him. I can feel His energy. Waves of love, purity. As if I'm getting nourished. There is no sound. For the first time, I feel completely accepted and loved. It's like my search is over. I've come back home to my Father. In this moment, I feel my fortune. And I thank God for giving me this unconditional love. I spend just few more seconds with this Supreme Being, just merged in His love. And I feel liberated, light, just like a feather. And I feel complete. Once again, I choose to come back. Come back from my home to this corporeal world. Slowly, I travel back through the universe, stars, moon, back to this world stage, back in my body. Once again in the center of the forehead. Now Nothing has changed outside. But I feel different. I feel light. I can't even feel my body. And in this awareness, with this feeling, I will now continue to play my roles. Om Shanti.
I truly found that very relaxing, to be honest. But through the exercise, I kept wondering if this is my imagination or if this is really there for certain.
Yeah, this is something I also wondered when I started this exercise. But if it's only imagination, there will be no real transformation. As a soul, when I go to God, I'm carrying a lot of burden. I'm carrying a lot of pain. And also I have a lot of weaknesses and impressions which is creating a lot of wrong actions. So I need the power to transform that. And this is the experiment that I have to do. Of course, the feeling that we feel is so powerful, the vibrations we experience are so powerful that we're not able to negate the fact. When I used to visit the center, sometimes the knowledge would not touch me because, it takes time. Your intellect is not so clean. So you're not able to accept everything. But sometimes when you experience meditation and you experience that vibration of love and peace, the silence, it's the feeling that you've not experienced anywhere. You know for yourself. You've had years of experience and you know that this is a very different feeling. It's like, how can you be so full in like 2-3 minutes? It's only somebody who's so full can make you feel complete within minutes. But the important thing is the transformation. So when you keep doing this exercise every day, maybe many times in the day, then you build power, inner power. You build that willpower that we say. You draw that power from Supreme and your willpower increases and you're able to transform those impressions which you couldn't change for like many, many years. You're able to change them in like days, in weeks, and that's when you know for sure that it's not imagination, it's real.
So, sister, I think you would have been on a similar journey like us to find God, to build a relationship with God, to know God, to love God. And would it be okay if you could maybe spend a few minutes telling us about that journey?
Yes, sure. To be very honest, I wasn't looking for God. Sometimes at a very young age, you're not really looking for God, but you're looking for other things. You're not looking for God or truth, but everybody wants to feel happy. And for me, it was more the authentic happiness that I was looking for, because I had a belief that more I acquire, my happiness index should go up. And as the years passed, we're acquiring degree and the job and the salary, so it should go up. But for me, it was not really going up. Every time that moment came, when I acquired, it would feel good. But over a period of time, you can feel that its index is going down. The glass which is filled with happiness is slowly, I don't know, but I could feel that it was going down. And that's when I started to search at what is the truth. How can I feel great no matter what? How can I feel good in all circumstances if things don't go my way, if people don't behave my way, if whatever project I have taken doesn't go well? How these were my questions, more to deal with the practical life and feel good. And that's when I came in contact with Brahma Kumaris, and when I learned the whole knowledge and the meditation, I realized that there is no other way that you have to connect to God, because He is the source. And that was where I started. I realized that I need to understand God more, because there is everything else which was giving me happiness was temporary. It was perishable. It was here this moment and it could be taken away another moment. And I was fearing more than feeling good, because if you know that this is something that you're getting your happiness from, you fear that you will lose it. Could be the job, could be the position. And then I wanted to build my happiness on a more strong foundation, eternal foundation, that I could just touch the source and take it in. And I would be honest that I wasn't really interested to have this journey with God. And initially I did not pay much attention to build that relationship, because I wanted the results. I would do it very mechanically. Okay, let's go up, go to the to that world, come back. It was more like just an exercise, and I did not enjoy it. And I realized that it is very important to develop that relationship. Ever since that, there has been looking back, because once you develop a relationship, you start experiencing things in a very different way. That's how it began.
Wow. And has God ever spoken to you or touched you with an answer?
Ever? Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that like?
All the time, because which is important is that, like I said, the intellect has to be clean. It's like if the intellect is plain, a plan gets touched. You know, but if the intellect is not clean and the mind is chattering, thinking too much, then you're not able to pick up that touching. That's something, that energy. It's like even in a relationship, I will only be able to pick up your vibration if I'm closely connected with you. If I'm too involved in my work, then this person can constantly think about me, but I will not pick up the vibration. But when we're thinking about each other, the child is thinking about the mother is thinking about the child, there is this exchange of energy. Then when this mother has a thought or the child has a thought, you kind of pick up that energy. That's how it's with God. If you're constantly connected, if there is a conversation on a daily basis, if there is this good communication, no mental chatter, it is sometimes difficult because we're so used to thinking, overthinking, then you're able to pick up his touching.
So this touching that you talk about, is it like a gut feel, or is it like an intuition, or is it something that you just know? Is it something like that?
It's very powerful. Normally it's one thought that will not leave you. And it's also something which is little beyond your capacity. You know yourself, and you know this is something that I will not decide for myself. This is something that I can't think. This is beyond my imagination. I don't have the wisdom to come up with that. All these things. And that one thought will kind of not leave you. So it will kind of hold on to you. And then if you follow it, it's very easy. It's like everything is already planned. There's no obstacle. You just move through. And things become very easy, because you don't have to think too much. I remember this one time in the spiritual class, God said that if you remember me, I will do the work of your thinking.
Wow.
To that extent,
He's going to think for you.
He's going to think for you. He's going to guide you. But it's not so easy to stop this thinking, We're so attached to our thinking, our ideas, in fact, on the spiritual journey, initial months, you just realize how attached you are to your own thinking, to your ideas, to your ways. It takes some time to adopt to God's ways. I met this one brother, and he had been on the spiritual journey for a couple of months, and he was meeting Dadi Janki, the administrative head, and Dadi asked him, said, "What did you learn on the spiritual journey?" And he just replied, I think that was great wisdom. He said, "Dadi, I realized how much ego I have." And that's true, I realized after this journey how sensitive I was, because people would say something and you feel so bad. They're just giving their opinion, but you feel bad, you feel hurt. And there's this constant going up and down, and the happiness is not actually there.
So, we've run out of time, sister. And I'd like to close this beautiful conversation asking you, how would you define God in one word?
If I would have to define God in one love, that is love.
Just love.
Just love.
L-O-V-E,
Unconditional love.
love.
Yes.
It's very beautifully put, sister. Thank you for joining us in the studio today. Thank you.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Well, friends, you too can have a very, very beautiful relationship with God. A relationship which is based on pure, genuine, unadulterated love. I hope you take the opportunity to connect with Him and experience this. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to reach out to us. We would be very happy to respond to you. Take care.